With the EYBL Peach Jam Nationals wrapping up this week, a lot of the top 2025 recruits have been cutting down their list of offers, and we saw one of Syracuse's priority recruits, Kiyan Anthony, do the same tonight. Kiyan, son of NBA legend Carmelo Anthony, announced on his social medias that he is down to just 6 schools, deciding between Auburn, Syracuse, Florida State, Ohio State, USC, and Rutgers. Some schools that Kiyan left off of his list include Indiana, Tennessee, Maryland, and many more, but as a Syracuse fan, I was just relieved when I saw our logo on the graphic. Obviously, with the long history of the Anthony family and Syracuse University, Kiyan would be a huge grab for us, especially considering the way he has developed the past few months and how he's been performing against some of the top players in the nation. Kiyan is currently ranked as the 32nd player in his class according to 24/7 Sports, but after his performance at Peach Jam this past week, I wouldn't be surprised if he cracks at least the top 25 before he graduates. Today, I'm going to be breaking down Kiyan's relationship with each school, and at the end, I will give my prediction on where I think he'll end up committing. When asked about what Kiyan is looking for in his future school, he said he wants to play under a solid coaching staff, represent a winning program, and be somewhere family-oriented. Now, with that being said, first up on the list, we have the Auburn Tigers, and the weirdest thing about Auburn being on this list is that they're the only school that is yet to offer Kiyan out of his final 6, as he stated in a recent interview with Joe Tipton and On3. I know Bruce Pearl attended the EYBL Peach Jam tournament, and he could have talked to Kiyan a little bit there, but it has been known for a while that Kiyan was looking to set up an eventual visit to Auburn. Anthony is also close with 2 guys currently at Auburn, that being Tahad Pettiford and Ja'Kai Howard, but Anthony says he's hoping to get the offer soon so he can get up there and take a visit. Next on the list of 6 schools is the Florida State Seminoles. FSU offered Kiyan on October 5th of last year, and just a week later, Anthony visited the Seminoles, accompanied by his dad and mom. Anthony spoke on his visit to FSU and said he was a big fan of all the facilities, the football program, and the big guards that they have produced to the league. Although I don't think Florida State is where Kiyan will end up, I could honestly see him fitting into the play style that Leonard Hamilton leads in Tallahassee. Obviously, as a Syracuse fan, I wouldn't want to see Kiyan end up at Florida State and have to play against him in the ACC, but I do feel like FSU could definitely be a contender because Kiyan would be able to go there and automatically be a top option and be able to play his own isolation kind of game that we've seen him excel at in the past few months. The USC Trojans, who offered Kiyan just last week, are the next school on the list to talk about. USC is the latest school to give Kiyan an offer, and prior to receiving the offer, Anthony had expressed interest in wanting to build a good relationship with new head coach Eric Musselman and getting down to Southern California for a visit. Anthony mentioned that Coach Musselman, as well as assistant coach Quincy Pondexter, who played against Kiyan's dad in the NBA, reach out to Kiyan a lot and show him a lot of love. In the past few years, we have seen quite a few NBA stars kids end up at USC, most recently being Bronny James and DJ Rodman, and I do think USC is getting a fresh start joining the Big Ten for the upcoming season. Next up on Kiyan's final 6 schools is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State offered Kiyan Anthony just a few weeks ago on July 7th, and there have been rumblings of Kiyan wanting to take a visit to OSU after Peach Jam. Kiyan has also been quoted saying Ohio State is very high on his list, and he's interested to see how the rebuild continues with new head coach Jake Diebler. It's also worth mentioning that Bryce James, son of NBA legend LeBron James, received an offer from Ohio State in October and has taken a few unofficial visits there. Bryce and Kiyan grew up playing against each other and being close, so there's definitely a possibility the duo could team up with the Buckeyes in the future. In my opinion, other than Syracuse, I feel like Ohio State could be the strongest contender to get a commitment from Kiyan in the near future. The 5th school to discuss on Kiyan's list are the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. As a collegiate basketball program, we have seen Rutgers start to bring in some highly ranked recruits, especially this year with an incoming freshman class led by Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. Kiyan received an offer from Rutgers just a few days ago on July 16th and has said Rutgers has been showing him the most love out of all the schools in his recruitment. I think Rutgers has potential to win a lot of games this year because of this group of young stars, and because of Kiyan's interest to play for a program that wins a lot of games, I do think Rutgers could also be a pretty serious contender. Last but definitely not least is my Syracuse Orange. Syracuse was one of the first big schools to offer Kiyan all the way back in November of 2022. Anthony took a visit to his father's alma mater in October of last year and said he did really enjoy it. Kiyan mentioned that he is a big fan of the other 2025 players the Orange are recruiting alongside him and said he sees the vision that Adrian Autry and the rest of the coaching staff are putting together. Just 2 months ago in May, 2 recruiting analysts from the Rivals website locked in crystal ball predictions to where Kiyan will end up, both being to Syracuse. In my opinion, and trying not to be biased, I would definitely say Syracuse is the front runner to land Kiyan Anthony for the 2025 class. With his dad winning the national championship with the Orange in 2003, and Kiyan being born and raised in New York hearing about the program, I feel like Syracuse is just the perfect fit for the rising 5-star shooting guard. I don't want to jinx anything, but I am really hoping Syracuse receives a commitment from Kiyan in the future to kick off our 2025 class, because with Anthony committed, I feel like we will definitely be able to bring in some highly ranked guys beside him. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe to the channel below and also comment where you think class of 2025 shooting guard Kiyan Anthony will end up based on his list of his final 6 schools.